How's it going, everybody? This is Eric, and your captain here, bringing you a deck profile of Kyros, our third black and yellow leader, as added into the One Piece card game. This is after black and yellow Luffy comes out from the Three Brothers Ultimate Structure deck. But before we get into the deck profile, if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join the pirate crew. Hit that bell notification so you know when a new video is uploaded to the channel. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below what other cards you would suggest running in this build. I've been scouring through the internet on YouTube, websites of seeing people's builds. Sadly, I don't see deck profiles of it. And all I have to go is by memory of what I saw they played and what they've used. And then tried it, didn't like it, kept tinkering with it until I got a build that I have uploaded to this channel that you saw, from the epic battles. And those epic battles is pretty much silent battles. I'm pretty much not talking. I just play, record, back to, the deck building process and tinkering with everything. And this is not a finalized build either, because by the time this video is uploaded, the ban list hasn't come out. This deck will change depending on what the ban list is. Like heavily. Now I already got a deck that's ready for the ban list / restricted that Bandai is going to be providing us soon, this upcoming week, during Worlds, and getting myself prepared for that. So let's get into this deck profile. Go pretty fast on cards that are new, or I'll go fast on cards that we all already know. But here it is. Kyros, active main. Once per turn, you may turn the top card of your life face up, capable to one of your opponent's characters with a 0 cost. Great effect. Would be stronger if it was a cost of 2 or less, but they knew what they were doing. Bandai knew what they were doing. Now, here's our EB01 lineups. Our 3-drop, 4K, 1K counter, 4 copies of Brook on play when attacking. Give up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of give up to one of your opponent's cost 1 during this turn. Give up to one of your opponent's characters that's a 0 cost character. Pretty good. Love this. Love this effect. Thank God it's an on play ability, and it does have when attacking. If this was just when attacking, this card would be dog shit. But since it has an on play ability, pretty strong, very strong, especially against people that run a bunch of 1-drops. Like you know what I'm talking about. Red, pretty much. So this is very strong. Now our 4 copies of a 4-drop, 5K, 1K counter. Lamboon, La Putang, active main. You may rest this character. Give up to one of your opponent's characters. Cost -4 for this turn. Super strong card, especially if they go second. Once they drop their 4-drop, you on your Dawn turn, you'll be at 5. Play this, KO something. Give 1 Dawn to your leader, and use his effect, KO it, and then they don't have a body on board. You do, and he's pretty much a blocker that your opponent has to commit at least 2 Dawn to kill it. If not, it's gonna stay on board, depending what you have in your hand. Probably block that 7K swing. 6K swing, they're just not really optimizing what they could do to get rid of this card. But it will slow your opponent down. That's what you have to anticipate. Your opponent either swings with 7, will you block it, or will you let it die and your opponent gets to breathe for a turn, unless you play another one. Then your opponent's like, fuck. And that's why we run 2 copies of our 4-drop 5k Kuzan on play, draw 1 when attacking. Same thing as Lampoon, -4. Then 4 copies of our 10 drop Kuzan. You know what it does. -5 to your opponent's board. Every character on play give to your opponent's 0 cost. Super strong. Love this. Love this card. Again, if you're going against a rush build or a deck that rushes you with small bodies, you're never gonna get to this card. And then from our latest set, our 4 copies of our 2-drop 0k 2k counter 1-legged soldier active main. You may send this card to the trash, give up to one of your opponents -3 to their character. It is a Tashigi. That's kind of better than Tashigi a little bit, but doesn't have the aspect of Tashigi of him becoming a blocker. Because once you play Tashigi, you rest her -3, do your shenanigans, and then Tashigi is a target for your opponent to attack. So that's the best part about Tashigi, is she automatically becomes a blocker that your opponent will try to KO. And then we got 4 copies of our 4-drop 0k counter, 0k 1k counter blocker Rebecca on play. Return up to 1 character other than Rebecca with the cost of 3 to 7 from your trash to your hand, and play a 3 cost black character from your hand to the field. I've also, off to the side, have other cards that you can play if Rebecca gets hit and Gekomori gets hit. If their ban list and restriction does affect us in America, once they announce it, this deck might not do as good. But I do have another build that has a backup to that, just in case of these get hit. Now, the menacing card that everyone wants restricted or banned already, that hasn't even been here in the West, is and we're running 4 copies because it's that broken and generic. An 8-drop 9k 0k counter Gecko Moria on play. Choose up to one of your 4 costs or less, and one cost 2 or less character from your trash. Play one of them and play the rest remaining. Super strong, so not color restricted for his effect, so you got options. And he's a 9k, so super strong, being a 9k body. Just a menacing card that players are not excited to go up against. To be honest, I'm not excited to go up against. And if your opponent plays black and yellow Luffy, if they have 2 of these in your hand and they play them back to back, you might as well scoop, because there's no way winning that. Your opponent's leader will be that black and yellow Luffy leader becomes a 9k body. And if they have 2 blockers, like 2 Sabos, you have to scoop right there pretty much. Because there's no way of you getting through that unless you already have like your own bosses established. But anyway, let's get into our yellow lineup. The most exciting part are 4 copies of our 2-drop 4k, 2-drop 0k 1k counter blocker Viola the Crotch Destroyer. On play, choose one of the following abilities, look at your opponent's life, and then return them in any order. Super strong. This is a game killer. If you remember what they have in their life, and towards the end of the game, if you're swinging for game and you know what they have in hand for counter, and you didn't see them trash it the previous turns, then you have so much knowledge that your opponents be like, if he knows how to attack right and sequence his attacking with certain power, then I am screwed. And that's this is how Viola the Crotch Destroyer can steal games. And then her effect will help you use Kyros' ability more frequently and more willy nilly. Is or choose her other effect, which is turn all your life cards face down. And against another yellow where they can send a like if they play Katakuri, just put this on top life. Then you could play this, and if you already use Kyros, you flip two of those life that are face up, face down, and then you can use her effect more often. And then we got 4 copies of her 2-drop 0k, 1k counter. Shio-Ho ain't she? Blocker Shirahoshi. This character is KO'd by your opponent's effect. Place up to 1 card from your top of your deck onto your life. Against black decks, super strong. Because it's a blocker that they won't try to KO, and a blocker that stays on board. So your opponent's like, well, I have to focus on his other units other than this card. So, love this card. Also comes from the EB01 set. Then for our life hitters, if we get hit in life, we can play from our life. We run 4 copies of Satori. We play because he's a 2k counter, and if he's a potential body on board, and he's a cost of 5, which is going to be pretty hard to get rid of from your opponent's effects if you're playing against a black deck. And his effect is trigger. You may trash 1 card from your hand, play this card. Super strong. And if you reveal it with Kyros, and this card is flip face up, your opponent will think twice of attacking you. Might starve you, but heck, it just means you can go maybe a turn safe and probably top deck of Viola the Crotch Destroyer, and then flip it face down. Your opponent will like, well, fuck. Now he gets to use his effect again with combinations of cards that can minus, and your opponent will be like, well, I should have attacked. And then another card, if you're going against a 4-life dual attribute 4-life leader, this card is super strong, gets value right away. And pretty much, if you're going against any yellow build, you have to anticipate this card is on top of your opponent's life or in hand. So this card gets automatic value. So 4 copies of our 4-drop 6k 0k counter Kukunojo on KO. If your opponent's at 3 less or life, place the top card of your deck on top of your life. Super strong effect. And then our 4 copies of our 2-drop 0k 2k counter Suzuki Hori. On play, you place the top card or bottom card of your life pile. You may sorry, you may put the top or bottom card of your life into your hand. Put 1 card from your hand on top of your life. Again, set up these cards, that early rush. And she's also a very great card since she's a 2k counter. Then we run 4 copies of our 1-drop event. Great Eruption. I know it's an expensive card, but this card is very much needed. Its value is just too strong. And since you're really digging into your deck for combo pieces to get Kyros' effect off more consistently, this effect is draw 1, give one of your opponent's characters -2 to their cost during this turn. And it's so strong. You get to draw 1. So if you get another Great Eruption from Great Eruption's effect, you can use it again without committing any other cards, effects, or unnecessary plays if they are a 4-life or 4-cost character. But yeah, that is the build. But here are some other cards. If these are expensive, if this is too expensive, if these get hit, then you can run these other cards. We got T-Bone, 5 drop, 2k counter, 5k on play, KO to one of your opponents, costs 2 or less characters. Super strong, comes from the EB01. Sabo, you already know what Sabo does. Great against the black matchup. And then another card that can combo off with Kukunojo. You know, that yellow card that if it gets KO'd, your opponent's at 3 life, you get to heal. So here's a card that can actually kill your own card to get its effect. So you get 2 effects. You get to gain the life, and you get to minus 5 to one of your opponent's characters. Super strong. Also been playing it, still testing it, depending what the ban list looks like / restricted. Might play this card. Might. And then we got our Rob Lucci, another great card. If certain cards get hit, this card will be played. Maybe. But, you know, it's food for thought for you guys. And then here is our Absalom. You know, Salmon. He's a new card from the from set 6. He's a 4 drop, 5k, 1k counter on play. You may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 2 cost. So same thing as his effect, but he is not a 2k counter, so you don't have to worry about that. But you do have to have cards from your trash, cards in your trash. So you might have to run cards that, you know, that you can trash cards from the top of your deck to the trash. And then another card against black matchups. If they are running Guzons, you might want to run this, or against any black deck. You just get rid of their Borsalinos. You can get rid of their Borsalinos. You don't have to worry about Borsalino's effect of not being KO, because this does not KO. It just sends it right to trash. So it just bypasses Borsalino's effect. And then, or your opponents put 3 cards from their trash to the bottom of the deck against Thrillbark. This card's pretty good, but you really use it for the first effect. And then we got another strong card, the 4 drop, 5k, 2k counter on play. If your opponent has 5 or more cards, which is this effect gets straight value. Your opponent discards 1 card from their hand, or your opponent give one of your opponent's characters -3 to the cost. Again, another strong card. Why don't I play it? You know, to be honest, I don't know why, but like, this card's very strong. So since this is a set 6 card, I would say pick up 4 copies. This is a great generic black card, and its effect is super strong for any black deck. So I think this is going to be a staple for every black deck that's coming out, and it has very great stat lines. And then another card from the black starter deck, Luffy, is our 4 drop, 0k, 1k counter blocker. Shiraho, ain't she? On play, give one of your opponent's characters -4 to the cost. So right away, turn 2, go in second, play this, use Kyros effect, and KO their character. Your opponent attacks you, you take it, and then, you know, you have 3 life, and you already have a blocker ready for them, for any attacks coming your way. And then another card, great card, especially with this, is main, trash the top 2 cards from your deck, KO up to one of your opponent's characters. It costs 5 or less. Trigger, activate this ability. Oh, okay, so this still protects it from this. Okay. And then Ice Age. If you're worried about big bodies and you're not if you're scared of your characters being KO'd way too early, this card's very strong. But again, depends if these cards get hit, and this card gets hit. If all these cards get hit, these cards I feel like I'll start using more in the Kyros build. But yeah, those are your other options. And then we got a Navy build that I'm still cooking, depending on what gets hit. But here is what I'm working. Here's what I'm working with. Same thing, just a bunch of Navy. Again, heck, these get hit. I feel like you're gonna have to run other stuff, just like what I said with this. Great thing, Navy. Where is he? Oh, I think that was the only Navy card. Yeah, he's a Navy. He's a Navy, and then you got your other Navy cards that you can use. You got variety of card selections for the Navy package. Yeah. Do I have brand new in that one? Yeah, I already have brand new. Borsalino. Nally, still $30. So this deck still does amazing not using Borsalino. Like I really tried super hard not using any cards other like I really tried hard not trying to use Borsalino. And it's working wonders. But the only reason why is because I have Rebecca. If Rebecca gets hit, guess what? Borsalino's going into the deck. Sadly. But here's your other options. But if these get hit, a lot of people are going to start running these. So you're going to have to do these. Counter it. If you still don't want to run Borsalino because it's still expensive, run 4 copies of this. You might have to sacrifice some blockers from the deck. So you go like that. You're worried. Then, boom, take out that. There's one of your small bodies, boss monsters, I guess. Yeah, there it is. And then you can still tinker with the lineup once we get the confirmation of the ban list / restricted list from the east, and if it does, affects us to the west, then there's your cards to start picking up. A list of cards to start picking up for Kyros if you're looking forward to playing this deck. Other than that, that is the build. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this deck profile, and hit the like button if you enjoyed. Little side note of what other cards that you can run depending on what gets hit on the list. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Join the Pirate Crew. On that, thank you for watching and have a great rest of the month of March. On that, thank you for watching.